Jello, please get out of the way. I'm filming a video, and this one's really important. This one's really important. Oh, you want a pets in the shot because you like it to pet, so you might be food if the economy gets bad enough. Yeah, I know I'm supposed to feed you in 40 minutes, but you gotta understand, if the economy gets bad enough, you are going to be the food. I might not be joking about that. So, Donald Trump did the thing that I was expecting him to do, but worse, that a lot of Americans were expecting him to do, but worse, start some kind of trade war. But man, this is bad to escalate. Like, to threaten to start, then back off, and then say, oh, actually, I'm gonna do this, but even worse. Worse than ever by many measures. These are going to be the largest regressive taxes on the American workers in human history, and this is also going to hit every part of the economy, including the parts that billionaires do not want politicians to touch. It's going to sink consumer demand. It will absolutely lead to a depression. And the only way to stop the chaos that is to come is not going to come from within the United States, unfortunately. So, I've been following what the rest of the world thinks of this, and they are very mad. And justifiably so. Now, with the original threat of tariffs against Canada, they kind of nailed what the rest of the world was supposed to do. And what the rest of the world was supposed to do, and what it is going to do, is something I need to warn America about in advance. If you value being alive whatsoever, if you're not just a suicide-seeking internet troll, if you value your life in any way, shape, or form more than that, then you're probably going to want to run away from the president. No matter how much time you spent supporting him, and that's it. Like, factor out all the rest. Like, do you like being alive and knowing that you could feel pleasure in your life ever again? Well, run away as fast as you can. And that's been happening within here already. In Minnesota, we didn't ask for this. Not on us. No bueno. And whatever that means in Somali and Hmong, did not ask for it. The de facto state languages of Minnesota, I don't believe we have an official one. But yeah, that's shitty. Okay? Most of the vote, well beyond the final tally, did not expect Donald Trump to directly attack their livelihoods, directly go after their wallets, and directly steal from them. And directly raise the cost of everything because of a personal vendetta. Because he honestly believes that America can extract and make everything within itself and be perfectly self-reliant from within. Well, I got some bad news for all of you. There has never been a nation in global history that has done it except the Fertile Crescent, but that collapsed. And there never will be for the kind of lives we live. And none of you are willing to change. None of you are tough enough, not even remotely. I know how strong and tough where it matters inside you people are, it's not. You are very comfortable in ways that you are never going to be able to comprehend for the rest of your life. But you're going to have to now. I mean, now it's going to be comprehensible. It's going to manifest itself in front of you. A lot of the stuff where I would want to say, you know, this is how people who work actually live. That's going to start happening to you now. And this is going to be a case where as the American economy shrinks, it's not going to be like any of the other economic downturns in the 21st century. It's going to hit billionaires. It's going to hit rich people. It's going to hit their wallets too. When the flow of trade stops, their accounts cannot grow in any meaningful way, even if more money is printed. It cannot flow. And the economy, the word economy, describes the behavior of people and who gets what, when, and how. If there's no trade, there's no economy. And we simply, literally, in a physical, like atom by atom sense, do not have the resources to maintain our own lifestyle. No matter how destructive we go about it. We have to trade. All nations have had to trade for the past 3,000 years at least. And Donald Trump wants to blow that all up. Look, I'm sorry if this disappoints the people of North Korea, but Juche is also a lie. To the people of UK who are still feeding into this, self-reliance is a lie. At an individual level, as a person, you have to trade stuff. You have to trade commitments. You have to make promises. You have to give time and effort to get anything out of life whatsoever. And no amount of automation and AI is going to change that. And as groups of people, we have to trade. Even within our own work environments. We have to trade. We have to trade a little of our comfort to maintain peace throughout the building. As Americans, we need to be mature enough to accept that. And be mature enough to understand that there will be some lapses in that from time to time. And deal with it as it comes along. We have to trade. Trading is life. Trading is improvement. Trading is actualization. Trading is good for people. Trading is what makes people grow. Inside and out, and literally in terms of height. Over time, it's what makes people advance. It's what makes the standard of living go up. And Donald Trump just said, nah. The American dream is canceled. Because open bracket, close bracket. Because empty set. Because nothing. Not even null. Just, well, nothing. Right, Kitty? Yeah! I have every right to be upset about that, and I am not alone. Tomorrow there's going to be huge protests. Honestly, I want to go to a themed one after, if I can, so don't expect to find me there, but there's going to be solidarity. The likes of which Americans have never seen before, even factoring in the Civil War. Never seen before against a sitting president. And yet I still do not think the final blow will come from within. I think foreign countries need to start taking advantage of the division in order to negotiate the more peaceful terms that they will be able to get after this is done. But the time to act is short. And it involves what I hinted at the beginning of the video. Near the beginning, anyway. Canada. You guys are awesome. I would know. I live in Minnesota. Which, again, did not ask for any of this. My governor, Tim Walz, is making agreements with Doug Ford. And we're gonna get some exemptions, some special exemptions, the kind that Republicans were hoping they would get from Trump for their loyalty and ass-kissing and voting for him. We're gonna get that in life instead. California's doing it. There's gonna be a whole intersectional coalition. And then there's going to be another side that doesn't. This isn't going to be like the Civil War, though. We could wrap this up really in a month if the rest of the world understands that there is a certain segment of the American population that is aiding and abetting the eating, the cannibalizing of America and the values you have ever loved from it in any point in your life, at any point in our history, our shared global history, that just wants to wipe their ass with it, that wants to destroy it and replace it with not growth, not progress, not innovation, but putting more death, way more death into life, as they already did during COVID-19. They love to do that, they relish in it, and honestly, I'm not even sure if they believe it is good for humanity anymore. If they're just psychos on a suicide mission, laughing at everybody that came before them, and that's it. We all know that there's more to life than that. Every 100% of humanity knows. But there are people who turn their backs on it anyway. They do it in America. You don't need to think about Moscow either. Like, America is where the rot really is. It's coming from the White House, and you have to make all of the people within America who are aiding and abetting this absolutely illegal occupation of it, you have to hurt them. That's all there is to it. And it breaks my Georgia heart to say, but you need to grant all the butter to Trump's enemies as you can. Because Trump's enemies are America's friends. And when I say America, I mean this one. And not just as, like, a little buzz phrase to get attention and concern troll, knowing that I oppose so many of these bills of the whole Bill of Rights and even the Second Amendment, but only for the people I don't like, the illegals that I didn't even check. They're just those kinds of people. You have to hit their wallets even harder. And I know, in Minnesota, we're going to feel this. Like, the budgets have been revised again to assume that there's going to be, like, no federal money coming into Minnesota at all. And you got to poke holes in what we got to face. I mean, there has to be something, right? If you want my personal opinion on it, I mean, you could exempt Minnesota completely if you wanted to. But in my personal opinion, we still need to get a bit of a slap because there are these morons across the land in every state. So they need to know something's happening, but the more of that is in America, the more the pain that needs to be inflicted, because these are the same people who would do the job of stopping Trump for you. You wouldn't need to send any of your military or special ops. You could just, like, really, really mess with it. And you have every right to, in your countries, to pass retaliatory tariffs that take advantage of America's divisions and harm the psychopaths more, the very weak, the most fragile of really the white Americans, but also anyone who thinks it's a good idea to latch onto that vibe. And they need to be sent a powerful signal that shakes up their core so aggressively that they never consider that to be a valid pattern of political thought again. You have every right to do that. I have every right to support it. I've done more for this in this video than Donald Trump has done in his entire life. By moving it forward in any meaningful way, by using my free speech as a call for action for foreign governments to save it. Because I want to, Minnesota wants to, most of the people want it at this point. And he needs to go. Trump needs to go. And the fastest way to do that, the fastest way to rock possibly him even in his core belief that this tariff bullshit is a good idea. Turn up the heat on his base. Turn up the heat a little for America and a lot on his base. Sanction, if you need to, red state products that you do not need in any way, shape, or form. It breaks my Georgia heart. I lived there for 10 years. I saw peak Savannah. And I know the knock-on consequences. I mean, you could weigh it more towards luxury items that are optional, but a lot of fragile, very rich people would not like to see the cost go up on. It would make them have to wait just a little bit longer for the stock to go up. Oh my God! You have to wait 2 more weeks for your next yacht. While everyone who made that possible has to eat. This has got to stop. The tariffs got to stop. And if that doesn't happen, then you need to make the base mad at him, and you need to make it clear that that is the reason. You need to make the facts impossible for them to ignore, and you need to make your intention extremely clear. Those Canadian billboards were brilliant, by the way. And you need to cozy up to American politicians and governors in American states as foreign governments to protect our domestic institutions. And I'm glad that you're all getting readiness for an America you can't depend on anymore. I'm not saying to stop that, but I do believe that this should happen at the exact same time, and that the rest of the world is capable of saving America from its dumbest president ever. I know you can do it. And as an American, as someone who here for almost 10 years, but I've lived in 6 states overall, and in all of them, a lot of people have this very misplaced sense of optimism that no matter how bad things get, they can find a way for it to not personally affect them. This is not one of those things. Everyone is going to feel hit from this. And all the attention and the eyeballs need to be put on the man responsible. And unfortunately, it's going to take some people more persuasion and pain to get to that conclusion. And in any case, the president's supporters in those states could help your budget if you do that, if you tax them more, especially on luxury items. Like, I'm sorry, I don't think you should go after the poor people of Atlanta, but luxury items, oh my baby. You could build a lot of stuff with taxing Gulfstream jets. And I knew one of the dads of the people who designed those. It hurts me to say this, but I don't see what else there is to do. If the retaliatory tariffs are targeting America as a whole, then the source is going to keep flowing. Because he will be able to keep throwing shade just enough to stay in power. And as an American, I do not want that anymore. There's going to be a growing number of people who do not want that anymore. There's going to be a growing number of people who will come to their senses across the land. And some will need more persuasion than others. If they know that this is a man who is here to hurt them, to destroy them, and their country. Until all of that happens, none of you are safe. None of the world is safe from him. And we all know that now. I suppose the only other thing to add to that is, if you really want to mess with customs, and you could do 3 blocks. Like, you could have the people who voted for the Constitution in the last election, the states, getting 1 round of smaller tariffs, everyone else enabling this asshole a larger round of tariffs, especially on luxury goods, especially for high-income earners. And then a 3rd round where, from time to time, you're just going to exempt a state at random from everything, or part of this, or maybe one will get the lower rate, then you'll switch it back and forth, and then make it insufferable for customs to figure out what the tariff rate really is from month to month, week to week. You might even do every other day. And no matter how automated customs gets, they're not going to have the work ethic to keep up with that. And I know there are plenty of other countries in the world who could. We're not one of them. We're not one of those cultures. To have that much to deal with that level of instability at work would just break us, unfortunately, as Americans in any sector of the economy. So to do that to customs, yeah, that would hasten this even further. So I encourage that as well. That's my message to the rest of the world. That's my defense of the Constitution of the United States and the United States through all of this. And I hope you're all awake now. None of this was worth keeping men out of women's sports. And the delusion that someone who is trans and on puberty blockers and HRT, which is like the opposite, on estrogen, would have an unfair advantage against another girl. And if you agree with that statement, it's obvious you agree with the rest of the video since you watched this far. As always, subscribe if you like, and share if you care. At least, those of you who can, anyway. You kind of look like you agree with me, dude.